I just want to make sure that every piece gets modified so that it fits perfectly before we even start to primer or hard glue anything together. All right, so let's get this hood fitting right. We've got some tension side to side. This gap, I need to clean this gap up a little bit. It's kind of tight side to side, but mostly here. And you can see that it's blocking the front of this grill. I need to cut out that little arc, and that should push this down quite a bit. So let's take care of that first. Okay, so I have my mini rotary tool, and I'll go to level 2 and slowly okay, it looks like we're on the right path. It needs to just be a little deeper and wider. Looks like it's getting a little better. Look at that. Look at that. Very nice. Fits right on there. It's 320 grit. Let's check it. Oh man, did you hear that? Just clicked right in place. That's so much better. It's sitting a little low right there. So I'll have to take just a little bit off of this edge here. It looks like it's raised up anyways, like a, yeah, I'll take this edge down and it'll be flat. Yeah, that's a good fit. All right, the bottom of the hood has these ejection pin marks that are actually high instead of low. So what I'm gonna try and do is get them away from this edge here. Try and preserve that line, not cut it off. This is not the sharpest tool I have, so I can work at it a little bit. I wish it was sharp, because then I could just do like this and it would come right off, but it's not. Okay, I'm gonna work at these and I'll be back. Pretty much got that one flat. Now just to do these three. Okay, so I scraped all of them off. No more ejection pin marks. This edge here needs cleaned up. It's a little jagged. And then I'll clean up all the flash around here with a knife, sandpaper. Clean all this up, make it look nice. I'm glad I checked this. So this is the wing window, and it fits up inside this side. So there's a hole right here, and see how it doesn't, let's see if I can show you. See how it doesn't fit flush up against the window frame? We're gonna take just a little bit off the end of that, and then it'll fit flush up against that window frame. See how now it's right up against there? Perfect. After a lot of sanding, this side is done. This is smooth all through here. This is especially, you gotta take care of this. Over here, that's a hard lip. And I just rounded it all out so that it's a smooth hump instead of a peak. Be careful here. There's a mold line right here you gotta take care of. And then here, you wanna round this off as well. This is a sharp peak over here. So keep working at the body, get all in through here. There's really no sharp corners anywhere. Everything is rounded on the real car. So just take your time and pay attention to detail. Once the body's all sanded, I like to deepen the panel lines. Use the back of a hobby knife. First one's always the hardest. Just go nice and slow. Follow the line. Just keep doing it. Nice and easy. Don't get in a rush here. I like to put my little finger on the body to kind of give myself something to hold on to so that you're not like freehanding cutting. And I just like to do one line at a time. And when it's a nice defined line, you're done. Don't overdo it. You don't want to like cut through the body or anything. Move on to the next panel. Start in the corner. Slowly. Now you notice I'm using the back of a hobby knife and not this tool, because this one actually makes them wider. See how it goes skinny to more fatter? This actually makes your panel lines wider, which that's not what I want. I just want them deeper. But I do use that for another reason, and I'll show you. Back here, I was scribing along, scribing, and I actually got a little wiggly, like right in this area here. Like it wasn't a straight line. So I used the widening one to kind of hide my mistake a little bit, to make it a straight line. So I had to make the line just a little wider. You won't be able to tell on the finished car, but that's really what I use this one for. So I'll keep working on this, and I'll show you when it's all done. Okay, after you're done with the panel lines for the doors and the trunk, then check your reference pictures. I found that there's a panel line here and a panel line here that wasn't in the kit, and that's basically the rear quarter panel. There's this separate panel. For the door, this is the fender line. This line wasn't there. So what I did is I came over to the other side and I take a tiny photo etch saw and line it up right with the bottom edge of where the fender is. Make sure it's straight. And drag it. Makes a nice deep cut. Find it. Do it again. Do that a couple times. Get the line established. Then you can take your hobby knife carefully, since this line is kind of shallow. Find the line. And real carefully start making it a little deeper. And you'll also want to use the panel widening tool on here to make this just a little bit wider than a regular. Just like that. Take your 600 grit. And there you go. You got a nice fender line there. Once you're done with all the panel lines, then it's time to just clean up every part, go along every edge. Take your 320 grit and round out all of these hard edges. Paint doesn't stick to 90-degree angles, so just knock off just the edge of it, sort of round it out. And do that for all of the parts. Clean up any mold lines and any visible sink marks. Pin ejection marks, excuse me, Luca. While cleaning up the rear axle, I just noticed that this is actually longer than this. It's just a millimeter longer, but when you look at when the retainer goes on, this one fits with just a little bit of gap, and this one's farther away. So I'm gonna trim just a millimeter off of this, and they will both be the same length. I don't care much for this molded in carburetor, so I'm gonna take a foot wedge saw, line it up, and cut it right off. I'm gonna reuse it. I'm just gonna be painting the engine block and the intake manifold the same color, and the carburetor is a different color. So we'll just cut it. Just that easy. I'll sand that flat, sand the bottom of the carburetor flat, and we'll glue that on after paint. And I'll be removing this as well, because it's aluminum color. Sure beats brush painting it after I paint the engine block. All right, just that easy. All right, let's glue some stuff together. I'm gonna be using Tamiya extra thin cement for this. And the reason I like it over the Tester's red cement is this stuff is like an instant bond. Better than super glue, I think, because it actually melts the plastic. So what you're gonna wanna do is line up the pieces as best you can to minimize the sanding, and hold them pretty tight. Now I'm gonna do this I'm gonna do the transmission first. And you just hold it right on the seam. Hold it there for like 2 seconds. Let the glue move down the seam. Dip it again, and do it again down here. Just put it right on the seam. Hold it, and presto, that's bonded. We're gonna do the bottom now. Hold it. And our block is bonded. The intake manifold is going to be the same color as the block, so I'm going to bond that as well. Ooh, that's a little tight fit. I'm going to sand that down a little bit, or cut it off. I think I should sand it down. Get a nice tight fit. See, you got a little bit of a gap because it's not really flat. So I'm gonna flatten the top of the block first. I've got a hard sander here. And let's check the plastic. Can you see the shiny part is in the middle? That means that's a low. And then the dull spots are the highs. That's what the sandpaper actually hit. So the center section is low. And we're still not quite flat. See? So that means either the intake is kind of cockeyed, where this block is. So we're going to sand both of them. Yeah, still same gap. So make it easy on ourselves. We'll just take care of the problem. Just remember which way it goes. Yeah, that's so much better. No, it's still a little bit crooked. I think we can do better than that. But on the sides, it's much better. On the front, it's better. Let's check on this side. Yeah, we're right on there. So I'm gonna keep working at this intake manifold. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. We'll center it and then we'll glue it in place. Now what you can do is you can brush this on to make it a little tacky. And it's not gonna stick like super glue. See? But at least it won't move around as much as if it doesn't have anything. Put a little bit in the corner. And there we go. It'll give you a little bit of time to manipulate it. And there, that's bounded. Now remember this hole in the middle of the block? I'm going to fill it with a Tamiya epoxy putty. And this is a 2-part putty, similar to Milliput. See, mix the stuff 50-50, and I'm going to just make a blob of it. And you just kind of mix it all together. Yeah, I used way too much. So I got a little dish of water, and I'm going to use a silicone brush, and I'm going to start pushing it into the hole. Since I made way too much, I'm going to fill these empty frame rails that are visible in the finished car. I think that epoxy putty is going to work really good to fill those holes, and next week we will prep those pieces with some sandpaper. We'll make it look like that hole was never there. So next week we will continue gluing some parts together and maybe even get the primer. We'll see. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment, and maybe next week we'll talk about color. But I really want to get everything smooth and perfect in primer before we even hit it with any color or paint. Get to the paint stage, everything's just going to go so fast. I'll be batching parts together that all are the same color, and like I said, it'll go really fast after that. So I'm thinking we're in episode 3 now. I think maybe 3, maybe 4 more episodes and we'll be finished with this car. So stick around, and hope you're enjoying this series, because I am. Talk to you guys later. Bye. You still here? Go ahead and watch the next video. Hit the subscribe button.